Thank you so much. I'm William Travis Steffens, founder and CEO of a bunch of different companies, but our investments is a national real estate investment company that worked across 9 states. And we focused on the roughest multifamily housing in the country. And we built a amazing system that was fully vertically integrated company. And we would take the toughest multifamily properties across the country. We would purchase them, rehab them, stabilize them, and then eventually sell them. And conscious capitalism was one of our biggest focuses. And so our construction company that was within the companies would only hire homeless people. We'd take them off the street, we'd house them, give them the tools for the trade, and train them, and use different modalities to help them heal, and at the same time, make incredible money in the real estate market. The journey with Samurai Success started in 2006, man. So 19 years I've been playing ball with the most amazing coach on the planet, David Alcott. He's not only now one of my best, oof, start crying. Uh, he's not only one of my best friends, but he was the greatest angel that was ever sent to this planet for me. And we have had so many times together that are the greatest times of my life in business. Most people would talk about having a friend as somebody they go do something with. And, David and I have had a couple outings like that, but the time we've spent together diving in and pulling apart the company and processing the company, and the time he's invested into our success is unquantifiable. Yeah. At that time, I was a serial entrepreneur. I think when I met David in 2006, I had started already 3 or 4 companies. I was 26 years young at that time, and I was making thousands of dollars a day, going in the hole a couple hundred more than I was making every day. And all I knew is that I was hungry for more, but I didn't know at that time what more meant. And we always think it's just more money, and we think that money's going to fix the problem. But money just exacerbates what problem you already have. So if you have a problem, get money, and that problem will get even larger. And so my challenge was I didn't know who I was. I didn't know the I amness of William Travis Steffens. And so when I met with David, our first meeting was nothing but tissues all over the table, from me bawling my eyes out like I'm doing right now, and him just sitting there in his stoic, beautiful nature. And I couldn't afford him at the time. I couldn't pay him. And I just said, look, I have to have you, but I don't know how I'm going to pay you. So we got to figure this out. And he said, I'm in. And that was one of the greatest gifts I was ever given. The first goal that I wanted to achieve was just becoming organized. My life was complete chaos. I had no idea what a schedule was. I had no idea what a team really was. I had no idea what mission, vision, and values really were. I had no idea about focus, and I certainly had no idea about how the quantum universe works, and that I was creating all this chaos. I was the co-creator of this messed up life that I was leading. I was more of a victim to the life. And so I came to David as a victim, with a goal to become a victor, and with a goal to be able to be the businessman that I always wanted to be, that I knew I was capable of, but I just simply didn't know how I needed that leader. And he stepped up to be that leader, to help reflect back to me the greatness that I am. And he was such a guiding light to lead me into all of those accomplishments. Well, one of the greatest insights that began was uh, humbling myself to where I was located at that current time, and where instead of where I thought I was located. And so I thought that I knew, and the truth was I didn't know. And only so knowledge is a book on a bookshelf. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge, and the only way to bridge the gap between the two is experience. And I didn't have the experience necessary to bridge that gap. I had this rote knowledge, and I didn't have the ability to take any wisdom to apply it because I didn't have the experience. And so what David really taught me initially was getting into my business. So one of the things that Samurai will teach is know your business so well that you can't be talked out of it. And so getting into my business in all aspects. What are the functions of the business now called the spine? What are the functions of the spine, and what are the nerve endings of the spine, and how do each one of those processes and systems work to support the functions of the spine? And when all of that began, it was like what you said. I was a rebel, and I saw nothing but restriction in that. I saw nothing but the next thing he taught me was a schedule book. What we write down gets done, and if we dictate to the universe through our writing of this hand what we're looking forward to, all the parts and pieces can harmoniously come together to give us what we desire. And he had to instill this in me over and over and over because I was such an ass. I was just constantly saying it's not possible to schedule my life. And now, granted, 19 years later, I can't imagine not having my schedule. And so it started with those things, the simple things that we don't apply. And then it led into much, much more fun and beautifully um, I want to say complex, but truth of the matter is, man, it was all simple. Everything that Samurai teaches is truly the simple things that we don't apply in our everyday life or that we simply don't know. The I Am Studio is so near and dear to my heart because there are so many I am um, products out there. So you can go onto Google or you can go onto YouTube and you can YouTube I am statements, and it'll be an hour long of these I am statements of someone else's voice stating over and over that I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. But when you learn through Samurai and through the Swords of Illumination training that your subconscious has a programming and runs 95% of your life, that we were given this specific voice for a reason, and that when we hear ourselves speak or feel ourselves speak, that starts the reprogramming sequence for the subconscious. And when David downloaded the downloaded the plan for the IM studio, when I first went in there, I have to admit, I was like, I've been doing IMs for a while. I can go on to YouTube and find an IM video, da 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 da. But man, when he plugged me into that and he gave me the homework to outline all of my IMs in the specific categories that encompass all of life's greatnesses, I was able to understand when he pushed that record button and I was dictating my own I ams in the voice that I was given to myself, for myself, through myself, everything changed. And he told me that day when I walked away from the I am studio, listen to this twice a day, don't ever miss, and you'll have everything you ever dreamed of. And of course, I was a little skeptical. And so, but I did see things start to change immediately. And I have to admit, I wasn't really solid on sticking to that first round. So he said, Yo, baby, you got to come in for a second round. It's been a while. And I had grown a lot emotionally, physically, spiritually. And so I went in for my second round of IM. And I re-recorded. And so this is fun because it's like building a vision board. When we build our first vision board, it's all these things we think we want, right? It's the mountaintops we think we want. It's the things we think we want. And as we evolve spiritually, we start to realize that some of those things that are relics of a certain state of being no longer are needed once that state of being is reached. And so when I went in for my second round of I am statements, it was amazing how different my I am statements were. And it was amazing how much more they meant to me. So the homework leading up to the I ams is incredibly important. And the swords of illumination training us to find those I ams from within is incredibly important. And so on the second round of I Am Studio, my life changed dramatically. And now I look forward to every morning getting up and getting into my I Am Studio and listening to that beautiful reprogramming. And it's the greatest meditation of my day. Yeah. So with Samurai Success, the most tangible result that I've experienced is that my business reflects me. Who I am is who my business is. And our businesses are entities, they're living, breathing things. And oftentimes we treat them as if they're just a machine, and they're not. As David always says, it's people, processes, and profits. And so when we get that mixed up or messed up, and we go for profits, then people, and then maybe think about processes, sustainability is impossible. And you will always be a slave into your company. And we call this just being, we say it's entrepreneurship, but we're just building a job for ourselves and calling ourselves business owners, which is a great lie. We're not a business owner at that point. We're an entrepreneur that has become self employed by our own business and by our own insanity. And so, Samurai Success is designed to come in to figure out and to identify through you who you truly are and then build your business around you. There's a ton of so-called business gurus out there that come in and say, do what I did, do as I say, and you will be successful as I was. And what bullshit that is. That's shoving a square peg in a round hole, and it's not honoring Source's contract to us to be uniquely individual and uniquely different and bring something unique to the planet. Instead, Samurai Success says, Ryan, who are you? William Travis Steffens, who are you? And as we define you in the I am presence, we're going to build a business around you to support you and create financial freedom for you so that you continue to grow and to expand and to become the grandest version of the greatest vision of you. And for the business owners out there that think you know, stop thinking you know. And finally spend some investment money and some investment time on a company that truly can help you define the I am and so that your business can reflect you. The biggest difference is, I have to honestly say, is the spiritual difference. Um, when you're in the presence of spiritual greatness, you will take on that environment. And when I spend time around David and with Samurai Success, I couldn't help but have a massive curiosity on what is creating so much peace in David's life, what is creating so much stoicism in his world, what is creating this level of congruency that I seek so badly. And at that time, I wanted all the Lamborghinis. I wanted all those things. And I love cars. I love all that stuff. Total Porsche guy. But I wanted it because I felt that it was going to make me who I am. I wanted it as a representation of something I had accomplished, that I was good enough. And so the difference between the 26-year young William, and I called myself just Travis back then, to the 46 William that I am now is the knowledge of who I am as a spiritual being first, and the knowledge of who I am as a congruent businessman now. And nothing means more to me than congruency now. Nothing means more to me than showing up at my greatness now, and then watching the business reflect that, and then reflecting love back to everyone in the business. And so it would be easy to say millions of dollars in the bank account. And yes, I've had the millions and I've had nothing, and I've gone through everything you could possibly imagine in the last 20 years. But the one thing that has stayed consistent is Samurai Success. David Alcott has been the most consistent staple in the last 20 years. And just wouldn't be who I am or where I am today if that angel had not been placed in my path. I've stood on stages with presidents. I've been honored by the greatest. And if I could say and give greatness to one human on that path, it would be David. I would recommend Samurai Success to anyone who wants to lead a truly joyful life that is surrounded with business and entrepreneurship. I know the entrepreneurs out there because I am the serial entrepreneur that everybody jokes about and laughs about. And I know the discomfort that comes from being in that place. I know the stress that comes from being in that place. And I know the pressure and the not enoughness that comes from being in that place. And I would implore any business owner that thinks they know the way to challenge that knowingness by hiring Samurai Success and finding the freedom that you possess inside that you have yet to tap into, that a guide and a leader with systems and processes such as Samurai Success can help you define, declare, and decide who I am through you, and allow that light to shine to the planet in the greatest way you could ever possibly imagine, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. When Samurai Success helps you align to the true version of you, you will have more than you could have ever imagined, and it will be greater than you could have ever imagined. And that is a promise I can make. With most coaches and most coaching concepts, it's a, as I said before, it's a square peg in a round hole program. And Samurai Success will never judge you. That's one of the coolest things that has always been such a gift with David is every meeting that we ever have every week. I know that he's going to love me right where I'm at, and I know that he's going to start right where I'm at, because we go through these ebbs and flows. And as the pendulum swings, we're going to go through our emotional roller coaster. And David and Samurai Success are always there, right where you're at, to help you stand back up and get back up to where you know you deserve to be.